Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Hi, welcome to Be My Guest. Today we have Debi Graham Leard. And Debi is an author and a narrator. Welcome, Debi. And you came in from Norton.
I did.
Where is that? Is that up in the North Shore or in the West? Where is that?
That is down south of here, between Attleboro, Mansfield, Foxborough.
I was way off. My parents lived in Foxborough. I should have known that. I know Mansfield and Foxborough. Then you come up, 140, you said you'd go back that way.
Right.
I love that way through Milford, Bellingham. What's the next one? Franklin?
Yes.
And Rentham. That's a nice way to go.
It is a nice drive, so I'm heading home that way.
And there are a lot of stores.
Always a bonus.
My husband doesn't care about that. He says, let's get on 495. Let's just go. I said, no, I want to stop here. I want something. Well, anyway, we've got two great books here that Debi has written. She's going to tell you about them. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with number one, The
Okay.
Uninvited Guest.
Tell us about The Uninvited Guest. Look at the cover. Did you choose the cover?
I did actually created the cover with my publisher.
Uh-huh.
The story, my grain of an idea to write this story, which was my first fiction mystery, was the old village library in the center of Norton, which has been closed since the 90s, when the new library was built further north.
Yeah.
I always thought it would be the coolest place to live. So that is where my main character lives.
Tell us, without giving the ending away, tell us about the story.
The story is about Gwen Andrews, my main character. She's a widow. She's a retired music professor from the local college. And she is roped into hosting a judge who's coming down to replace a judge who had a medical problem in the musical competition that's coming up in a couple of weekends. She has to agree to host this person without knowing who it is. And when the person shows up, it is an old nemesis of hers. And under the same roof, they are...
Yeah.
And it's not a nice situation.
You're not getting along too well.
Not a nice situation. And when this uninvited guest disappears, Gwen is suspected of being involved.
Yeah.
And she sets about proving that she had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. When did you start writing The Uninvited Guest?
When I retired in 2010.
You're retired?
I'm retired.
What did you do before you wrote?
I was in the marketing department of Herff Jones. They're a
Okay.
jewelry company down in Providence.
Yeah. And you just decided to go into writing?
Well, when I retired, I'm sitting reading a mystery. I'm pretty sure it was a Carolyn Hart, one of my favorite authors.
Yeah.
And I put the book down and I said, oh, why can't I write one of these? I can do this. I've read mysteries my entire life. I said, this is not difficult. Well, it's a lot harder than you think, which I found out very quickly.
Very quick. But did it discourage you?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. I had such fun researching, talking to people, getting the story straight
Well,
in my
this is
mind.
based on a real building.
It is, but I took the entire town of Norton and I moved it to the coast. And I renamed it Harbor Falls.
Yeah.
And a lot of my local readers have said, that's a great idea, let's move Norton to the coast.
Well, it's not that far, actually. If you go through Plymouth, right?
Right, exactly. A half hour, maybe.
Norton, Norton, you're near. Definitely. That's why 495 worked well for you. I figured, because it's just north on 495. You get off in Hopkinton, and you're almost here.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right near where the marathon.
Yeah, just a few miles.
Just a few miles. So this was the first one.
This was the first one.
Uninvited Guest. What does your family think about it?
They were very proud. Very proud of
Do you have
'Cause
children?
I had
Still at
never,
home, or-
no stepdaughters. In fact, that is one of my stepdaughters on the cover. When we were trying to come up with the design of the cover, both my publisher and myself looked on the internet to get a picture of a woman, like three-quarter view, standing on a stair step, looking up, and we couldn't find anything. Nothing. So I called my stepdaughter. I said, hey, Megan, would you like to be on the cover of my first mystery? And she said, well, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
So we tramped down to the center of Norton, and 140 goes right by our common. Did it on a Saturday. Her boyfriend is an amateur photographer.
Yeah.
And we're, Megan, okay, put the luggage on that side, move up one step, look this way. We got about 70 photographs.
Yeah.
and chose the one that
This one
ended up
tells
on
it
the
all. I mean,
cover.
she's back to. She looks like a kid going to college, but she's not. She's going into the library.
Right.
Yeah, and then the
and
thing.
that is exactly why, if you notice, that photograph, if you looked at the building,
Yeah.
says library above that archway. But we didn't want to give the wrong impression exactly what you said, somebody
Yeah.
going to the library. So my publisher smooshed it out.
That's what happened. Okay, that's what happened.
So she's now the uninvited guest.
It still stands there, right? The
Oh,
building
yes.
is still there.
Oh, yes.
It's still the library.
No.
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 What is it now?
No, it's just abandoned.
Why?
Because they built the brand new one up further north.
What
up by
did
the
I do
Wheaton
with this one?
College.
This is
It's just sitting there. It belongs to Wheaton College now.
maybe they had classes there.
Nope, nope. It had some issues with vandalism and destruction. In fact, I tried to get a tour inside there, and I wasn't able to go in.
You know, I know who would be great going in there. A paranormal couple. Ooh,
Mm.
that'd be good.
Well,
Definitely.
did you have a chance to read this?
I got to about midway.
Oh,
but I don't want it to know the ending.
All right, no,
Don't do it to me.
because
No.
there is some paranormal in here.
Okay, good. I'll get to that. Okay.
I'm
now,
not going to ruin it for you.
you started this what year?
2010.
Okay, and you finished it in.
It was finally published in 2015.
Okay, all right. So now, when did you start? Here comes the next one. Where there's smoke, there's trouble.
Yes, a little play on words with the old cliche.
Yeah.
I started that one when the first one was going through the publishing process. And that was published the end of last year, 2017.
And that took you about
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah, so I'm getting quicker.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to be like a sequel type of thing?
It is. It is a sequel. Still Gwen Andrews. She is
Yeah.
the main character.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a series of 4. Originally, I was going to do a trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, Nora Roberts does trilogies all the time.
Sure.
But then a lady joined our writers group who was doing a children's book about the seasons. And because The Uninvited Guest is in the fall,
Yeah.
Where There's Smoke, There's Trouble is in the spring. The third one I'm working on now, which is called
There's another one.
Bed, Breakfast, and Blackmail, is just before Christmas.
Oh, now this one. When will this be done?
Oh, probably 2019.
Okay,
It
next
might be
year.
published.
want-
Hopefully.
Now, do you want me to hold it up so they can see it?
Sure.
Sure.
Go
Okay.
right
This is
ahead.
what's coming.
That's my workbook.
Yeah.
That's how I keep track of the names that I choose,
Yeah.
the characters, some of the plot. The research is tucked in the back there.
So you're right. You're right on. You've got this idea of keeping it up and keeping the sequel going.
Right.
I love it.
So
Bed,
that-
breakfast, and blackmail.
Right.
This sounds like a lot of fun. I know years ago, I think it was up in New Hampshire. I used to stay at bed and breakfasts. Some of them are really, really done nicely,
Mhm.
and people really care. Others, they don't care you're there. It's like, oh well, we serve breakfast at this time, and you know what breakfast is? Maybe a muffin and juice
Oh.
with coffee. I'm thinking, no. Where are the eggs?
Give me the
Eggs and the
bacon.
bacon. Oh, you can go up the street to the restaurant. I'm thinking,
No,
I don't think it's going to cut it for me just like a piece of toast or a muffin with coffee.
That's true. That's true.
No, you're hungry.
Hungry. as
Some of them
well.
are so cute. Now this is a real place, right?
It is a real place. It's the Blackington Inn in Attleboro. It's a marvelous restaurant, and they gave me permission to use that photograph, which I took just about 2 years ago during the
Oh,
snowstorms.
did you get lucky?
And my publisher will go in and change the sign that's in the front there. She'll change it to the Harbor Falls Bed and Breakfast.
And they're okay with this.
Yes.
I'll bet
they
they
said
tickled
I
to
can
death.
use it. Yeah, because they will get acknowledged
Yeah.
inside the book.
Oh, definitely.
And I will also gift them with a book.
Have you stayed
as an
there?
expert. I haven't stayed there, but we've had dinner there many times.
I wonder if they'd let you tour the bedroom so you have, as you're writing, you have an idea.
Well, I've created my own bed and breakfast
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah. Have
Yeah.
you ever wanted to own your own bed and breakfast? I bet you'd be good at it.
I have not.
Yeah, you seem like very hostess, very, very giving, and I imagine that you would be good at this type of thing.
Oh, well, perhaps, but life is short.
Oh, for
I'd
who?
rather make it up in a story.
So this is your workbook for that one.
Yes.
Now, what is Bullies? Show me that one you have there.
This is one of the books that I use as a show and tell. It's called Bullies, Bastards, and Bitches.
Can you get that, Paul?
You got it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. It's one of the show and tell books that I use when I'm giving my author talk about exactly how do you go about writing a mystery.
Yeah.
How do you create the characters? How do you come up with the plot? How do you decide the setting, the season, the year, the time of the year?
Yeah, by
All of
Jessica
that.
Page Morrell. And I see Borders. Remember Borders?
Oh, yes.
I miss them.
I do too. But that's one of many books that I show people. I have more than 50 how-to books.
Really?
Character, dialogue, scenes, and I bring a bunch of them when I do my author talk. That is one of them.
Yeah.
I went out and bought that when I was creating Henrietta. Henrietta is, to excuse the phrase, she's the bitch in The Uninvited Guest.
Oh, we got it.
And I needed to know
Yeah.
what are kind of the rules of writing a bad girl.
Yeah.
And the basic rule for writing a bully, a bastard, or a bitch is they can't be all bad. There has to be some redeeming quality somewhere along the way. By the time you get to the end of The Uninvited Guest, you kind of understand why Henrietta is the way she is.
Yeah.
It doesn't forgive what she does, but at least you
You
understand
get an idea why.
of why. Yeah.
So now, all right, you've got that, and you've got the one on the bed and breakfast. Is there something I'm seeing underneath that too?
Oh, well,
Another
that's just the workbook for where
Where
there's
there's smoke. That
there's
was your.
trouble.
That's how you do it. You keep a workbook.
Yeah, and each section, for instance, this is, I don't know if you can get close enough to see this.
Well, you got little writing. I don't know
On
if
the
it'll come
camera,
across.
you may not be able to see the details there. There are 2 columns there where I keep track of the character names. Because one of the things when you're naming your characters,
Mhm.
you don't want everybody to be John and Mary. You want them to start with different letters,
Mhm.
and you want different amount of syllables. You don't want too many to end the same way.
You don't want too many anyhow. That I will put a book down if there are too many characters. I don't want to have to keep going back and figuring out who it is.
Yeah, and you
Right.
have to introduce the characters when they're needed.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, when
Have
they
it
come
flow.
into the story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you flow. I mean, obviously, she's got it down. But you studied that, and so you keep that as you. I don't think I've met an author who's actually keeping their notes as to who's who. This is amazing. That's great.
Yeah, and then another section is each character, you
Mhm.
know, not so much a physical description. You don't want to do a laundry list. You want to fit that in little bits at a time
Very much.
as you write the narrative or the dialogue.
Debbie, how can people get a hold of your books?
They are available on Amazon.com, of course. You just hunt for Debbie Graham Leard. And both of these will be there also in ebooks.
Mhm.
I also carry a stash in my car.
Aha!
Aha.
Good girl.
And
Yay.
and I have a stash at my house, of course.
And don't forget downstairs at Upton. At the there's going to be the down there. Now, do you give presentations? A lot of them, like at Tapnock and places like that.
I've presented to senior centers and senior communities,
Libraries.
libraries, all of those types of places.
Will you come up this way, or do you stay more down north towards north?
No, I've been all over in New England.
That's great.
I've been down to Connecticut and Rhode Island.
Have you been to the huge New England Authors Expo every July in Danversport?
I have not.
You would love it.
I have.
Yeah, I've talked about it many, many, many times. It's a huge ballroom, and authors of all different genres can set up. And it's on the Yacht Club docking moor. It's gorgeous.
Oh,
I think a
that
lot
sounds
of weddings have probably been in. And everybody, you just go up and down the aisles, and all these different. It is amazing. You could meet as an author so many friends.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then get contacts.
I'm sure.
But it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Now, where are you going to be appearing next?
Where am I being? Let me think. I've got the Douglas Book Group
Mm-hmm.
through their senior center. I'm going to be meeting with them. They used my The Uninvited Guest as their book of the month that they were reading. So
The
I will
Douglas Group.
sit down and talk with them about it.
Do they meet at the library
afterwards.
up there?
I think they meet at the organizer's home on a Friday night.
I didn't know that. I think I
Yeah.
saw it in our local newspaper about the group. Authors, or a reading group?
Book group.
A book group, okay. They
Yeah.
pick the group to read the book, and then they get together and talk about it.
Exactly.
I think the Douglas is worried that they may lose their library.
Oh, I don't know about
I hate to hear that, because in his town, that's a hub. I love libraries.
I do
Does
too.
Norton have a good one?
Yeah, the
You
new
do.
one is quite lovely.
They really have a good
Yeah.
one. Now, when you were working before you retired, I hate to say retired, she hardly looks like you're retired, but did you think in your mind that you would be writing?
It never occurred to me.
No.
I've been reading since a very tiny little child. Somewhere in my sister's house, and she hasn't come across it lately, there's a photograph of us down in Delaware, where I was born, on our ponies, down at the end of the dirt road at the bookmobile.
And
back
where was
then,
this?
Down in Delaware.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
There's a place called, in Newton, the book, what's it called?
Well, a lot of towns have a bookmobile.
I don't think it moves. I think
I
it just
think-
stays there.
No, back in my day,
It moved?
back in the would have been the 50s,
It moved.
it drove around the county.
I love that
Yes,
idea.
yes.
Now, there's another part of our friend Debbie. She is a narrator. Now, for the people who cannot see, tell us about that.
Several years ago, actually right after I retired, I wanted to do something else. I knew I was writing, but I
Yeah.
wanted to do something as a volunteer.
Sure.
And I thought, maybe I could read books to children in the hospital or invalids or something. I was just Googling one day, and I came across Perkins School for the Blind
Yes.
there in Watertown.
Yes.
And at that time, they were looking for more narrators.
Yeah.
So I went up there. I had to go through an audition process.
Mhm.
They accepted me, and how many books have I narrated? 6 or 7.
That's a hike from Norton to Watertown.
It is, and it's a once-a-week thing. They
Yeah.
pair you with a partner. The partner is also narrating her
To get
own
with
book.
you?
Yeah. So one of you is inside the booth
Yeah.
narrating your book.
Yeah.
The partner is outside with the headphones listening and following along.
The
So if-
partner meaning the person that is blind?
No. Another narrator.
So the two of you read from the same book?
No. She has her own book.
So you're totally different, two totally books you're
Right,
reading.
but
two-
we are listening to each other as we're recording. So
Huh.
let's say I'm in the booth.
Yeah.
I'm narrating my book.
Yeah.
She's outside listening with another copy of my book to see. Oh, Deb, you pronounced that word wrong.
Oh, it's a corrective type of
Yes, and she
Oh.
rewinds, and then I re-record, and then we switch places. And then I listen as she's recording her book.
Mhm. What is that thing on, a lot of on cable television? We've had them on, I can't think of it. Not PBS. It's a thing where they actually they're reading articles from the newspaper on the air. You could probably put on your cable station. Oh, I can't think of it. You'd love it.
Yeah,
We
I think a
definitely-
friend of mine does that, Robert Kane from Holden.
Also, MAB, Massachusetts Association of the Blind in Worcester, they can give you a lot of tips. I think it's on the tip of my tongue what this is. They're very popular. You can hear them reading. If I put on our cable station or I'm at someone else's place and I put it on, you can hear it coming through. Different people are in there reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the newspaper or whatever.
Magazine.
Definitely. You enjoy it.
I do.
Yeah.
I
Do you go to senior centers at all for, I know you do for the books, but do you read, anybody, does they come there for you so that you can read with them or to them?
I have not done that, no.
Yeah, you'd be good at that. What's your plan coming up? What's going to happen?
Well, I'm going to continue working on number 3,
Yeah.
Bed, Breakfast, and Blackmail.
That would be cool.
That takes up a lot of my time because you're not always sitting at the computer writing because some days I don't know what to write.
Sure.
But your mind is always working on the plot. What characters are going to go where, who's going to talk to who, what are they going to say, what
Now-
words do they use?
Are you one of those people that when you get an idea for your book, you've got like even in the car by your bed, piece of paper and you
I
write
have a
down?
notebook, a spiral notebook.
Well, I would agree. Yeah, I would think because you're very good at keeping your notes.
Yeah.
Again, we are talking with Debbie Graham Leard, and she is the author of The Uninvited Guest, and Where There's Smoke, There's Trouble. All right, we've seen these two. Now, the upcoming one is, what's the name of the
It
novel?
is Bed, Breakfast, and Blackmail. This is the mock-up of the cover.
Is it going to be about the same size as these?
Yes, it will.
How many pages do you usually prefer? Like 276?
Anywhere from 275 to 325.
Yeah. A lot of people, I work as, I help authors get out there and get noticed as a publicist.
Okay.
And they say, well, how many, if I'm helping them write a memoir, so she says, how many do you think I should have? I said, well, you know what? That's up to you. I always encourage them, don't do it teeny tiny. You know, that's going to drive a person nuts trying to see it, right? I mean, try and keep, this is perfect. This
Yeah,
is
that's
perfect.
Times Roman 12 point.
Right. Or an even larger, a little bit larger is great too. And I have one author who does almost like a double space. And I love it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
Really?
like, ooh. When I read it, I'm like, boop, 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 boop. It was really, really good. But like you and I talked about, too many characters can just ruin it.
Especially if they're from other countries,
Exactly.
with names that are not familiar.
And if I have to, let's say I've gotten to chapter 3, I'm all set. I'm like you. I'm picturing it in my mind. I've got everybody. And suddenly there's somebody else, and then there's somebody else. So now I'm going back. Who the heck? How are they? Who? I give up.
Well, that's a function of the author.
Yeah.
When a character comes in that has not been a lot on the page until that point, the author needs to remind the reader of who that is.
Yeah.
Very subtly.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big, long explanation, just a little hint.
How long do you spend every day writing?
I write in the morning
Yeah.
when I'm fresh.
So, are you an early morning person?
I usually get up around 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do my best writing in the morning.
Yeah.
Because overnight, it's amazing what your subconscious will come up with while
Yeah.
you're sleeping.
Yes. If you ever write something, they say if you have a question or you want to solve something, write it down, and then let me dream about it. And sometimes it happens.
It does.
The solution.
It does.
Debbie, again, how can they reach you, your books?
Okay, you can order either of the books, The Uninvited Guest or Where There's Smoke, There's Trouble, on Amazon.com. Just type in my name, Debbie Graham Leard, and up will come the 2 books.
Now, spell out your email, just in case people aren't sure how to do that.
Okay, my email is debi-lee at comcast.net.
Bed, breakfast, and blackmail. Now, right away, that would be a book I would reach for immediately in the library.
good.
Because I love the idea of bed and breakfast. It's cozy. Blackmail. Can you give us a gist of the story?
The gist of this story is that it's just before Christmas. Excuse me. Gwen has gone over to the bed and breakfast to have a Christmas party with her garden club.
Mm-hmm.
During the garden club, one of the ladies falls down the back steps.
Or was pushed, right?
Exactly. And Gwen is going to help the bed and breakfast owners figure out who did it because they don't want it to be blamed on their ghost.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
a ghost is. Ooh.
Yes, because the ghost is advertised
Yeah.
for the bed and breakfast, but most people come to know about the ghost, but they don't necessarily want an encounter.
Yeah.
And if the news gets out that their ghost pushed somebody down the stairs, well, that's
it.
not good.
You're not going to have customers.
That is not good. So they want to prove who else did it, not the ghost.
This could go either way. couldn't it? I love that. Do you watch the paranormal shows on television?
Some of them I do.
My favorite, I don't know where it is, it's taken about a year, went to the UK first, season 3, is Paranormal Lockdown. They're locked down for 72 hours in a facility.
Oh, and a haunted.
It's just the 2 people.
Oh, boy.
They're serious. It's not that one where the guys are like, oh, dude, oh. No. That one, Ghost Adventures, come on. But these 2 people, Nick and Katrina, are very serious about what they do. They're locked in for 72 hours, and you will go with them. They stay overnight. Believe it or not, I mean, I went in there like, I'm not so sure, but I watched, and I thought, there might be something to this.
Mm-hmm.
That might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But when you mentioned that there might be a ghost that shoved the person down, I can't wait to read it. It's coming out next year, right?
Well, hopefully.
Okay,
I'm
hold
still
on.
writing it.
Maybe in January, please.
By the end of the year, I would say.
Well, we've been talking with
So,
Debbie, and we appreciate having you on. And let me know when it comes out,
I shall do
because
that.
we will get that out there again. So we want to thank you for being with us. Hopefully we will see you again.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.